Hello once again everybody, welcome back to Train Sim World 3. This is the third time I'm recording this now, so hopefully third time's the charm. Again, that took a while to pop in. It's different every time. So, back here, take the picture. There we go. And let's get in and get moving. So let's try and get this done nice and quickly. Come on, get the door. There we are. Sit in the engineer's seat. Unlock the doors and I'll gauge lights on. Put the reverser in. There we go. Just get ourselves all nice and set up. Just release the brakes a bit while we're sitting here waiting. Because you saw how long that took. So, yes. We will be closing the doors soon, so we'll get that up ready. So, the first time, I was moving around at the end of the scenario where you put the train away. I was moving around and I accidentally went through a red light. So, yeah, end of scenario. Second time, I didn't hit record. So, yeah, I'm going to have to do this all over again. And try and remember the things I talked about. There we go. So, in forwards. A little bit of power to get moving. So, yeah, I'm going to have to remember all the stuff I talked about last time. And introduce it in a natural and flowing way. But, hey. When things go wrong, it makes for great entertainment, doesn't it? Just wang it. There we go. Little bit overamped, but fine. You're fine if it's just temporary. Right, so, yes, put the headlights on. Because it's dark now. So, yes, basically, this... We drive along here, we stop. We drive along a bit more, and then we drop off more passengers, and then we change ends and we come back to a depot. It's not all that far to put away for the night. Sounds simple, but it has scuppered me twice already now. Ah, dearie me. So one of the things I was talking about was things like distances in this one. It goes straight from miles to yards. So you'll see this over here. That will drop down to about 1.8 miles. And then it will go to 10,000 feet. Feet is such a small unit of measurement for such a long distance like that it really shouldn't be used. You've got yards. You've also got miles. You can use fractions of a mile, you know. You can go down to like 0.2 of a mile before you really need to change to something like yards. And then you can go down to about 50 yards and then switch to feet for a more accurate measurement. You don't have to use thousands and thousands of a tiny measurement. What we're going to do, measure the distance to the moon in inches. So yeah, we're approaching our target speed. That's fine. See, 1.9 and then boosh. There we go. 10,000 feet and now dropping rather quickly. At least it looks like it's rather quick. And then, of course, there's getting used to these brakes. Because the key figure to look at is the brake cylinder. That's right at the top there. It's at 0. So you go to lap, and then service, and then it starts increasing the pressure. You've then got to come out of that roughly where you want the brakes to be. So rather than say, yeah, that then is then when it transfers some of the braking force to the dynamic brake, which of course reduces wear on your brake pads. Of course, we've slowed down far too fast, far too early. Again. Because you see, like, 4,000 feet. Like, how far is that exactly? It's like the American tendency to quote really heavy weights in pounds and not make the switch to tons. Surely, right, take like a rocket. Surely, if you're quoting the weight of a rocket to the public, you'd use something like pounds. Something like tons. You know, it's just like, this rocket is like 200 tons. I see, that makes sense to me. I mean, metric and imperial tons aren't the same, but they're roughly in the same ballpark, so, you know, just to get an idea of how heavy something is, that's perfectly fine. But however many hundreds of thousands of pounds, that figure is just so big, it doesn't really mean anything anymore. And even trucks with, like, tens of thousands of pounds. It's 40 tons, mate. At least in the UK, the target figure is 40 tons. And at least in the UK and Europe and stuff, yeah, it's even far too much brake. Far too much brake. Don't actually stop, though. Don't actually stop. Keep moving. Keep moving. Yeah. Well, at least we rolled into the station on time, even if we haven't actually stopped on time. Yeah, at least in a metric country, a ton is 1,000 kilos. So if you did quota weight in, if you did quota weight in thousands of kilos, you could still do that conversion really quickly in your head. Anyway, that's just a whinge. That's just a bit of a whinge of mine. So anyway, yes, this is our technically second station. It's the one in the middle of our run. Well, we're vaguely on time. It's not too bad. I think I'm a bit later than I was last time on the run that I wasn't recording. And funnily enough, I didn't realise, oh god, what's going on now? Why was my mouse just spinning? It's like, what's going on? What are you doing? No, everything's fine. The second monitor is showing a nice smooth recording, so that's fine. Nothing to worry about. Let's bring that up and get ready to lock the doors. I mean, it takes a while to lock the doors, but that's fine. You know, you have a little warning announcement and then the doors actually slide shut. See, perfectly fine. It's just having to stay here for a minute, an entire minute while the doors are open. A minute doesn't sound like much. But, you know, even if you've got like 20 people all wanting to use the one door, they can all get on in a minute. As long as there's enough room on the train. But anyway. So San Jose, 1945. So that's 5.5 minutes away. We've got 2.5 miles to do it. Seems like plenty of time, doesn't it? But yes, the speed limit might be 80 at the moment, but yes, it drops down to 40. And then it'll drop down to 20, and then finally 10. Right on the approach. So that does add significant time. But there we go. I mean, that's the thing. When the marker last time went down past 2 miles and then switched to feet, it still took quite a long time to cover that distance, didn't it? At least it felt like a long time. Looking at my clock down there, on my recording clock, it's 11 minutes. So it's not really been all that long. The scenario itself quotes 40 minutes to complete. See, we're 1,500 feet away from our 40 miles an hour speed limit. So it's right there where that tiny disused platform is. Pretty much. See, those numbers just drop so quickly. Come on, release the brake. Don't need to slow down that much. Not yet, anyway. It's just a general whinge I have about the Imperial system, is that it's just nonsense. When you think about it logically, it's just pure nonsense. You've got 12s here, you've got 14s there. You've then got 16ths of stuff. And okay, yes, it's fine if you're taking one thing and chopping it in half every time. I mean, it shows the priorities that the system had. Slow down to 20 miles an hour. There we are. See, the problem is the brakes do overshoot slightly. Yeah, so, you know, if you've got a pound of something, you can cut it in half fairly easily. You can cut that in half again and again and again, and you get your 16ths, but cutting something into 12 pieces, that's actually quite difficult. I mean, I'll give it one thing. 12 is a better factor than 10. You can divide 12 by whole numbers into a lot more whole numbers than you can with 10. Because with 10 you've got 5s, you've got 2s, and then 1 of course, but that's pretty much it. Right, so the squealing is just coming from the tracks. That's fine. I will slow us down because last time I came in down here at about 14 miles an hour and we came in. Take the brakes off. It's like you press the button and you think you've... Okay, that's it. That's zero brakes now. No, you've actually got to take the brake off. So yeah, I came in at about 14 miles an hour along here. And I had to wait 2 minutes for the timetable. I had to just sit here and wait for 2 whole minutes. Just waiting for the clock. Yes, it made me wait until 1946. I mean, look, we're coming in roughly on time. So, yeah, so I had to wait until 1946 to close the doors. Anyway. So I'd finished all my loading by 2 minutes before that, so it was kind of a waste of time. But here we are. Just wait until we're about here, holding lap service. That'll be enough. It really stops us much quicker than I was expecting, actually. That's a whole carriage length there. But anyway, here we are. Unlock the doors. And there we go. So yes, we've only got to wait 20 seconds now. It's not so bad. It's not as bad as last time, that's for sure. So this is as far as I got on my last recording, which wasn't actually a recording because I forgot. It was here that I looked down and I realised, oh, my recording counter still says 0. So yes, that wasn't fun. That wasn't a good revelation. But anyway, here we are. That was only 15 minutes wasted. Better than the half hour or so that was wasted when I ran a red light back there. Just wait for this message to disappear. So reverser, neutral, brakes, if I can get at it, cut out, and switches off. Let's turn the headlights off as well, and the gauge lights. There we go, now we're shut down. Open the door, climb down the steps, close the door, and sprint down the platform. Seriously though, how many train drivers sprint down the platform when they have to change ends? I don't think it's many. I don't think it's many. So here we are. Now I quite like driving from the cab on these. Come on, there's the door.
Caution, the doors are about to close.
That's a terrible announcement. And this is a really slow cutscene. There we go. And into this tiny little compartment. And obviously your instructor or whatever would be over there in that one. It's like, why? You can't get at each other. Anyway, let's get all these on. And not the cab light, we don't need that. There's the gauge lights. And there was something else around here as well, wasn't there? Oh, no, it was down here. There we go. Cut in. There we are. So we've got to put the reverser handle into forwards. Release the brakes, because this is going to take a long time. We've got to wait for the ER to increase, and then the brake cylinder will decrease. Put it on 3 and we'll get moving. Eventually. There we go. So yes, it's got manual junctions. So yeah, we need to sort that out. But we are actually fine. Zoom out a bit then. So we're actually fine. We're fine here because that'll go that way. That goes that way. That still follows around, following this blue path we have. So we'll go past that one, go past that one, and then we'll stop here. This is the signal I passed at danger, and I'll explain why once we're there. We're speeding a bit, but it's fine. I don't particularly care. But this will take a while before we actually have to stop. So I'll just cut this bit out and I'll see you there. Okay, so just in case you're wondering why, this is why. It's pretty much 12 miles an hour, so 10 miles an hour speed limit the whole way. It is ridiculously boring. The brain just doesn't want to travel that slow when it's in a vehicle. It just doesn't. It thinks, why are we going so slow? It must go faster. So, yeah. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so we're 1,000 feet away. Not far now. It did take a little while. I can't remember exactly how much time that was, but that would have been at least 2 or 3 minutes that you haven't had to sit through. Anyway, there's that little red light right at the end. So you've got to get right up to it in order to clear this switch that we're just passing over now. Because we need to clear that so we can change it. But there's that light right down there. So, yeah. Now, I know what you're thinking. You probably thought, oh, well maybe he didn't quite stop in time. No, that's not what happened. Because you come up here. Yeah, no, I need to go forwards, please. I just needed to stop just to make sure that I got my speed off. So I can just creep forward then to this light. So basically, yes, what happened is I stopped here perfectly fine. I stopped here perfectly fine. I had to look the other side. I changed the junction switch thing. Now I can't see that now, so I'm... Make sure I put that in. Come out, have a quick look. We are... See, that's closer than I would like, because from the cab up there I can't see it. So I have a look at the other end. We've not got a lot of room here either, have we? So what happened was, I changed ends like this because we now need to go through the train wash. Now I need to go through the train wash there, so I set the points just like this, and then I forgot to set the reverser because I'd left the camera over here pointing that way. As far as I was concerned, I was going forwards by going this way. No. And also, it's slightly downhill as well. So I think I took the brakes off and I just started rolling in that direction anyway. So just wait for the brakes to release. Will the brakes release, please? Brakes are released. I've got thrust going in the right direction. There we go. So I don't actually know how fast we go through this, because this is as far as I've got in this mission scenario, whatever. So yes, we need to go through that at whatever speed it thinks is necessary. I don't know. I mean, it's telling me yard speed of 10. So I don't know, maybe that's fine. I mean, normally it's like 5 or 3 miles an hour. It's usually really, really, really slow. Something that's actually difficult to accurately control. Yeah, I'll leave it here. This is fine here. Well, that's obviously going. So through here, keep it slow. I don't know which of those fueling stations it wants us to go to though. Just double check. It's that one, that's fine, we're set up for that already. Lovely. So yeah, it's just through here. I just hope all the doors and windows are shut. Otherwise we're going to have a wet train. Anyway, so yeah, just I've got to go up there, refuel the locomotive, and then we're done. So yes, it was quite embarrassing going through that tiny, tiny little red light back there. But there we go. I'm not going to say these things happen because you've got to try and ensure that they don't happen. So we've got that's 900 feet away. We've got a red light in 800 feet. Why is that? And where is that? Oh, I don't want to stop here. I've stopped in vaguely the right. You know, I've stopped on the big marker, but I'm nowhere near where I need to stop. I think what it is, the HUD for the red light is based on like the leading end of the train, which is now this one, because we're going in this direction. But where it actually says to stop is based on where your character is in the driving seat. I don't want handle off, that's a bit too reckless. Anyway, there we go. Reverser to neutral. Applied the brakes, haven't I? Why is there a thingy over there? Anyway, I've applied brakes at this end at least. Close the door. So presumably we've got to apply the brakes on the other locomotive. I don't even know if I've asked it to close the doors. Come on, where's the door? I had something, a little blip there for just a second. Screw it. I can't get round it. I can't get round it. Ah. Alright, fine. We'll get off the other side then. It wouldn't let me past. Anyway, just sprint to the other end. Do we really apply the brakes in the locomotive? From the handle in the locomotive? Because you did it at the other end. It is in neutral. What more do you want? Emergency? Well, that's fine. We'll get down this side because that's where we need to be. Close the door. Remove the fuel cap. Connect the fuel hose. Oh, the fuel hose is all the way over here. Oh, is that too far away? Oh, come on. Ah, great. I know the fuel cap is open. I'm leaving it open on purpose. Yeah, there we go. Wait for the brakes to release. You know, well, maybe I should go cut in, because that's where we need to be, right? Yeah, brake pipe is going up. That's cool. Are we going to release our brakes now? At all, or do I have to go down to the other end and do it from that end? No, not throttle. Alright, leave it in lap. We'll go down the other end. For God's sake. This scenario is one thing after another, it really is. Why would you not have an extra long hose on your fuel? Oh God. I thought we'd be done. I thought we'd be done by now. This is such a really slow cutscene thing. And it points me that way. At least point me down here. Yeah, you can really hear it hissing in here, can't you? So if we go cut out. There we go. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to close the door. There we are. Right. Climb down the steps and another really long cutscene. You know what there. You know when I was saying that a minute is a long time when you sit there and think about it? We've been here for a good few minutes now, just fiddling, trying to get this thing working. So back over here. We've told the thing that this is where we want to control the brakes from. Brake cylinder is decreasing. We're in reverse. Bit of throttle. Just to move back a bit. So we're going to go. Oh, for the love of God, this isn't working. Apply a bit of brakes. Do we have to take the reverser handle out at the other end? Excuse me. Excuse me while I sprint down the other end of the train again. And here we are again. Right. Do we need to take the reverser handle out? Right. Will that work now? Can I operate it from the other end? Well, I'm not closing that door again, just in case. Okay, well that was a pain in the bloody arse, wasn't it? Now, will this work? As we've got our reverser, as we did before. Take the brakes off. We've got control of the brake. The throttle still isn't doing anything. Oh, you know what it is? It's these bloody switches here, isn't it? No? Oh, come on. Oh, this is ridiculous. For the love of God, just apply power and get us moving, please. Right, well, I'm not running down the other end of the train again. This is just going to be it. So, this has been a very, very frustrating video for me. Being the third time I've played this through now. And I can't seem to be able to get power to move the train back just a little bit so that we can line up with the fuel hose. So, screw this. I'm going to go home. So, thanks very much for watching. This has been incredibly frustrating. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.